Well, Marc J. Spears, the Kings have another new head coach. It's Mike Brown. What was your first reaction to the hire?
Excellent.
I
I
like
think it's
it.
an excellent hire. I know Mike very well, known him a long time. And Mike is like about the most meticulous person I've ever met in my life. Like the most studious person I ever met in my life. I can see why he graduated from University of San Diego, right? I mean, you got to remember, you got to go back to his military background in Germany and how he kind of like he wasn't in the military, but he's a military brat, so he does everything basically extremely structured. He's that guy that like no time in practice is wasted. Like, okay, from 11 to 11:10, we're doing this. From 11:15, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like he's very, 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 very structured. So in terms of like building a foundation, I think that's going to be very helpful to this team. Like we know what we're doing every day. This is how we do it. Um, there's no wasted time. And he, he must have a cool personality that the players like to call him Mike B. Like that. Like I didn't even know he had that nickname with the players until the other day. Yeah, Mike B, Mike B, um, which is cool. And I think that perhaps even a third time's the charm because he's had success in other places, but I think he's probably a better coach now than he was with Cleveland or he was with the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one
So
because we just had Matt Barnes on, and he was with them in LA, and he was mixed on the Kings hiring him, but he also was like, look, he could evolve, he could get better, and I imagine that Mike has
yeah,
gained so much just from being with the Warriors over the last 6 years.
yeah. I mean, being around Steve and you know, just maturing and we're all like when you think about what you did 10 years ago as opposed to now, right? You're like
Right.
you're just more experienced and you see things differently, and then you've gotten to see it under other people's lenses. 12-0 when he sat in for Kerr with USA, he beat USA basketball with a dilapidated Nigerian team that he's kind of thrown together and gave them structure. And that's kind of where, like, if you look what he's done for Nigeria basketball, like they were just basically in disarray.
Yeah.
And he got them together. Like they never even really had a training camp, and now they're like they were working out at the Warriors facility. So that I guess that comes to an end. They're not going to be working out at the Warriors old facility in Oakland probably anymore. Um, but maybe they're come to Sacramento. He's just a really, really good guy, straight shooter, great defensively. Um, just everything he does is with a purpose. So, and also I think he'll be great in the community, great with the media. I think it's a good hire for the Kings, but also good for Mike to kind of like. I told him, I said, if you could so much as just get this team in to win a playing game, you might have a statue outside, man.
Yes.
Like,
You're not lying, Mark.
yeah, like, and so I think there is more to work with there than people outside of Sacramento know what you got. Uh, I mean, inside of Sacramento know what you got. Outside, it's just I know you guys are tired of the jokes, man. You're tired of like,
They're funny until the Kings win, you know?
yeah, like but the Warriors were going through those same jokes for 30 years,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
now you see what they're going through. So I just think that he is a really good coach to take that next step. I think the pieces are there, but it's just like it's just a wobbly foundation with a lot of changes all the time. And if just let Mike do what he does for the next 4 years, and I think that playoff drought will come to an end.
And at one point, Mark, it seemed like Mark Jackson was the favorite as one of the
Yeah.
finalists. So what separated Mike Brown from Mark Jackson and I guess Steve Clifford?
I I guess you probably had that's probably a better question for Vivek. for them to answer, right? I hope Mark gets another opportunity. Hopefully, some of the things in the past that have haunted him will go away. If he gets the Lakers job, that'd be phenomenal for him. And I think he's another guy that probably learned a lot from his previous experience. So we'll see. I'd hate to lose him on TV though. I think he's too good on TV. Nobody says is better going into the commercial break than him. Like, so I'm like, selfishly, I like Mark on television. So I don't know that I want him to get a head coaching job, but I wanted it because I know that he wants it. And certainly the Lakers job for him would be great. Obviously, LeBron must be in his corner to have that interview. So, we'll see. But I think with Clifford, I never heard his name was hot there. I did hear that Mark at one point, seemed like a week ago, was the guy. And, I was told that, I could see Mike going into an interview and being very, very impressive.
Okay.
In terms of like, this is how we're going to put together this. Here's the blueprint. And I heard that I did hear that the front office was really, really high on him. And ultimately, I think it probably was that interview and the way he presented himself and his vision. Like, I'm telling you, man, this dude probably went into the meeting with all kind of information and ways to back it up. That was like extremely impressive. Like he was building a new company. And I'm sure that's something that they were very, very attracted to.
It makes sense why the Kings would be into him, right? For defensive purposes, what his resume, all that. Why do you think he was into the Kings? Like, why was Sacramento the gig? Because let's be honest about it. Like, he hasn't coached in a while, and you're taking over a team it's been chaos, right? For a long time here. This is not an easy job.
No, I mean, it's interesting because Mike had opportunities to really interview other places. And I think he had one like last season that I think he might have interviewed for the Knicks when it was open last time. And there was some other place, but I got the sense that he wasn't like he has a job now. And I remember Brian Shaw saying this when the Lakers were really good. Like the associate head coaching job with the Lakers during the Shaq Kobe era, the Phil Jackson era, is like better than many head coaching jobs in the league. Same could be said for the Warriors associate head coaching job now. But there's only 30 of these jobs, man. There's only 30 of them. And I think Mike saw that there is some talent there. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is in his prime. Sabonis is in his prime. Mitchell, I think, is like a Mike Brown kind of player. Certainly defensive minded. And I think Mike has enough cachet around the league that he'll be able to convince some free agents to come and be a part of it. Like, I'm curious to see who would come along. So for him, it's a super challenge. But if you get, it ain't even about it. I hate to say it because it sounds bad, but I mean, you guys get it. Like, if you could just get to the playoffs, man, like it's a huge deal there.
It's a statue-worthy deal, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully 5-10 years from now, like you're like, we're playoffs, that's what we do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you get past that hump and it'll be crazy because I know that place, man. People gonna be crying about making the playoffs. Like fans will be crying.
I'll be crying.
We talked about that. Yes, we would both be crying.
Because it's just like you just want to shake that, man. You just want to shake that level, that label, that that stat. It's coming. 2006. It's and I do think that that there was enough talent there to, compete for a playing game, but it was just, you have a coaching change in the middle of the season, you change people on the staff, you make a big trade. It's hard, man. So now I think the dust is settling on. I think the West is ripe for new teams, because I know when you guys watch Minnesota and New Orleans do what they do, you're like, why can't that be us?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
Like,
it's like looking at the West and going, how do you get past some of these teams? Like you look at some of the
Yeah.
teams that were out, like the Lakers, you imagine they're probably back in next year, depending on what
Yeah.
they do. And like
Nuggets might be a little better.
maybe they add some pieces around Dame that,
Yep.
maybe Levine goes there. Then you're like, how
Well,
the hell they
I
get
mean,
in?
like Denver, I mean, yeah, Utah could be a totally different team.
True.
Might end up being a rebuilding team. If Donovan Mitchell changes changes his address. Clippers, who knows? Based on their health, you got to kind of expect them. But the Pelicans show you that you just got to be in that top 10, man.
Yep.
If you could be in that top 10, then you go from there. The Grizzlies showed you a year ago that you could be in that top 10 and make it to the first round. Like, so both these last 2 years in the playing game, like teams that were in the top 8 made it to the playoffs, right? So that's the thing that's key, is just like just at least getting in that mix, and I do think there's talent to get there. It's just, now you got Bagley's gone, so you don't have that drama no more. It's just about, like, if I'm Mike, I'm like doing like one of Doc Rivers' old tricks, which is like going somewhere for camp. Like, he should go to like Lake Tahoe
The best.
for camp.
Hell
And what I
yeah.
mean by that is, when I covered the Celtics, one thing that really helped them was they actually had when the year they won a championship in 2008, they had training camp in Rome.
Oh.
And they also played an exhibition game in Rome, and then they went to London and they played an exhibition game in London. But if you go look back, they credit that time into forcing them to get to know each other better.
Yeah.
Forcing them to spend time together, not having any family around, no spouses, girlfriends, kids, any of that. It's just them. And I know the players do that. They seem to do that, like get together and work out, and that's cool. But I think they need to do it as a group. And
Have those dinners, have that hangout time.
So Doc was forced to do it the first year, and they went to Rome. And then after that, they went to Newport, Rhode Island, and did that for a couple years after that. And it did a lot for that team. So I think there's just, with so much new structure going in and trying to get on the same page before the season starts, like doing like a week in Tahoe, and that brings some fun with it too. Where you could let your hair down and do some kumbaya, or maybe even just go to Napa, right? And practice at Napa Valley College or something. Just something to get away and connect. And I think that when you're starting fresh, those are things that could be helpful for a team.
Do a little wine tasting with Marc Spears.
Yeah, and Marc Spears joins and then tells everyone
Marc knows his wine,
how
right?
to taste the notes and really get at the best out of each glass of wine.
Exactly.
That would be actually hilarious. Mark, we had Mark Jones on yesterday. And
Wait. You guys have a logo now?
What do you mean you got a logo?
We always have a
We
logo.
have a logo.
DNM.
It's like NWO. You know what NWO is in wrestling back in the day? We kind of did a twist on that.
A fan made that. A listener made that. So, we love it.
And then we have money off of it.
Did they make money?
We actually did. We
paid
did.
him.
We did. He was giving it to us for free. We were like, no, we're paying you. So,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, come on
That's,
now.
And
that's
how
what baller shows do, man.
Yeah.
Look, we're trying to take care of content. We got a small business we're trying to grow here. We're trying to help everybody
no,
out.
that's all right.
And how about the picture we used? This very serious picture of Mark Spears.
Ooh,
It's like
I
modeling.
actually hate that.
Oh,
God, I think you look amazing in it. Are you kidding me? Well, whatever. Then get another headshot and we'll use that.
Yeah.
Mark,
The Anscape uses that. And I've asked them to change it for years.
I
They
know
finally did.
I
But
know
it
we
just
only get
keeps
like,
resurfacing.
hey, we only get 5 more minutes with you, so I want to make sure I get this too. Mark Jones, we had him on yesterday and we asked
we could go a little longer.
Oh, dang. Okay, we can go 10. We had Mark Jones on and we asked him about like what Mike Brown's biggest challenges will be with this gig. What do you think those are going to be? And I'm praying that you don't say front office. I'm hoping it's going to be more like logistics on the court or something.
That's a good question. His biggest challenge is to change the mentality.
Okay.
Like get these guys to like, you know, somehow take the pressure off of you of the years of frustration. Make it feel like that song, A New Dawn, A New Day, you know, like just like whatever drama was there before, like let it go. This is a new group. I'm a new coach. Everything's different. You know, we start from scratch. You know what I mean? Just kind of have that kind of fresh mentality. Like in terms of the front office, you know, I don't know the general manager well. I kind of know him casually. I'll say hi, but I haven't sat down with him. I don't really know his philosophy. You know what he's looking for. I you know, like some of the moves, and I think too that for you know Vivek, you got to shed those reputations, right? You know that he's involved or other people within the organization that aren't in basketball operations are involved. Like, let them do their jobs and get out of the way. And if such isn't the case, then you know, shame on society for making up this stuff. But if it is the case, man, like I just remember the Peter Holt way with the Spurs. And that was like draft night. He'd come in. Hey, who do we take? Oh, we took this kid named Tony Parker. All right, good. And he walk out. You know what I mean? Like, I really like Vivek. I got to spend some time with him. I think he's a really great owner in terms of just ideas and also caring about the community and caring about people of color and social justice. But you know, let the basketball people do their basketball jobs. And if I know Mike the way I know Mike, he's going to have a good, strong personality where he's going to come in and these are his expectations and this is what he expects to do. And that box doesn't change, right? This is what you guys told me we were doing when I came here, right? So let us do that, right? And so I think, but I know Mike, he's not taking that job unless he thinks he could make them a winner, and because he didn't have to. And I think he probably could have got his name into other places because the Warriors are back, because he's been there for a while, because of what he's doing in Nigeria. I expected him to be a hotter candidate, you know, but somehow like he and the front office have to figure out a way to be on the same page. And because if that's not the case, then it's going to be the same song.
You have any ideas who he might have on his coaching staff? Like, is there any names that pop into mind?
Oh, look at that grin. He totally does.
Oh, he already knows. He knows the whole staff.
Come on, give us one. Give the Deuce and Mo podcast one. He's like, I can't.
Oh,
He's thinking about it. I love it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Give us initials. I'm kidding, Mark. You don't have to do
no,
anything.
it's
No,
fine. It's fine.
well, I want to say it, but I don't want to hurt anybody too.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because Mike is like real private with that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. You
But
can.
I would I would say this. Maybe look at some of the people that are. Here's your clues.
Ooh.
Look at some of the people that were involved with the Nigerian team.
Oh, Jordy Fernandez. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. We got it then. No.
And I wouldn't be a surprise if people that you got to look at everybody that was involved in that team.
And we talked about that with, I think, Mark Jones or someone, or Anthony Slater or someone.
Slater
yes.
brought up a name.
Yeah.
So Jordy Fernandez could be someone to watch. He's with the Nuggets right now. I'm not asking Mark to confirm this or anything like this. We're not putting you in a tough spot, but okay.
We're just going to stalk the hell out of him.
Yeah, I was just intrigued because, it's been a while since he's had a head coaching gig. And I was like, well, I wonder if Steve Clifford is involved. He was with him in LA, but that was more, I don't know if that had more to do with Dwight Howard being there. So I don't know. I was just trying to put things together.
One guy, I'll give you one name.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
One name. One guy that I know, I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna throw his name out there. One of Mike's right-hand guys. Can you name all the Nigerian assistant coaches?
I don't have them all in front of me. I know Jordy Fernandez was one of them. I don't know the rest.
Okay. Well, the Warriors used to have a player development coach who also served as an assistant on a Nigerian team, and he works for the Suns now.
Okay.
And his name's Luke Laux.
Okay.
Luke who? I'm sorry, what's the last name?
Luke Laux.
Okay. All right.
And I know that's one of his guys.
Okay.
So that's a name to watch.
Guys.
Name to watch. Appreciate that, Mark.
Do you think there's any chance there's any holdovers? Like a Doug or a Rico?
Lindsay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think so.
Oh, please.
I think so. I mean, Rico is maybe the best in the league at what he does. Got to be top 3, right? So I think Rico has a shot.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if Lindsay still has a shot of being around too. That's what I'm saying. Mike keeps a lot of stuff real close to the vest.
Yeah.
And even he won't even be quoted about it until his press conference, where most guys would have at least had some quotes they could have given you, right, to go along with it. But I think he pretty much, knowing him, he knows who he wants. He knows who he wants on his staff.
I like it.
Like I said, I wouldn't. Luke probably be mad at me for putting his name out there, but it's not Luke Walton. This is Luke Laux. Yeah, I think I would. Jordy, I wouldn't be surprised if he got an opportunity. But I'm sure, and you guys would know that are those guys have another year left on the deal?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. The intriguing one was Doug.
Right.
Right. But the thing is, you can't. I think it's tough to force a coach to keep people.
I'm with you on that.
And I don't think that's any indication on no knock on those people. I remember, I got my master's at LSU. I'm a big LSU football fan. And the coach basically cleaned house, and all these people were upset. I'm like, this is his show. Yeah. I know a college football coach, I can't say his name, but he was up for a job somewhere else, and they said they wanted to name, he had to keep half the coaching staff.
Oh my God.
And he's like, no, this is a better job, but I'm not gonna. I think it's a recipe for disaster when you force a coach to keep people.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that,
because you're still paying them. You gotta let them do their thing.
I selfishly, I hope that Doug gets a chance to just catch up with Mike and not be forced on, because I think Doug knows the game and I think he's got a good feel. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if Mike holds it against Doug that Doug used to get buckets on him when Pepperdine played San Diego, but back in the day, they played against each other in college.
But then also too, it's like, okay, if he kept Doug, but he's not on the front line of the bench, is that going to be okay? You know?
That's true. No, you're right. There's so many layers to it, but I'm with you. The coach should have the say over the staff.
100%.
Yeah, and then you got to have a strong associate head coach too.
Well, right, which is why we kept thinking Steve Clifford. We kept thinking Steve Clifford, and that's why he was a finalist. And we were like, is this where the direction they're going to go in because of that relationship? So we just didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's another thing. I'm like, who would be Mike's like OG? Like, I don't know who would be his. There was a former NBA head coach that, like I said, look at the Nigerian team that was coaching for him when he had to be absent. Okay. Give you another like thing to look at. I'm not saying that he said any of these things.
Yeah.
Right. But I think it's important to have a significant associate head coach to join forces with you. And I'm not sure who that guy would be for him.
Interesting stuff. Mark, we appreciate you hanging out for a bit. Thanks so much. It's been too long, and we appreciate your perspective as always.
Keep killing it on TV. You look amazing.